Both Jim
Okay.
B. Just for fun. We'll see if you can find a microphone.
So this one, and this one were the three that came in, right? That one?
Hang on, let me just find your screen again.
Yep, that's
yes, that's right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so the San Diego Library, the Silhouette, and then part of the roof of the San Diego Library. Oh, University of California, UCSD Library.
Yeah. Well done. All right.
I wouldn't have chosen to shoot at that time of day given a choice, but unfortunately we didn't have an option.
Say again?
I would have chosen to shoot at another time of day if I'd had the option, but I didn't.
Okay. You can see what's happening?
Yes, I see Photoshop.
All right.
I see it opening in Photoshop.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
All right. Good. So we'll just test on this one and make sure that everything's cool.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to switch my email off because it's going to be really irritating.
Yeah, you closed all my stuff too.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, I can't see that. All right, there we go. Let's put that there. Let's bring that down a little bit. Get a little more detail on the sky. And then that would be even more. And brush this up. Ooh, what?
Your sky just went nice and dark, or my sky just went nice and dark and blue.
Yeah, well, I didn't clean up the, I'm not cleaning up all these edges, but yeah, I took it down to 0.48 on the sky.
Right.
To get it,
yeah.
And then,
and then you apply tonal contrast?
And then I'm going to apply the tonal contrast to it, to the building.
Like that.
And maybe even apply a little bit more of
That's interesting. I put a lot of work into lightening the shadows specifically because I was losing, I mean, they were pretty deep shadows in the original. So
yeah,
I went too far.
Well, you tell me.
Yeah, I went too far.
That's just, I mean, if I was gonna sell it to the client, I think I'd go that direction because that's probably more closer to what it looks like in real life.
Yeah. You know what? That's true. I went the other way because I mean the original was, as I say, was pretty dark, and
yeah,
I kind of lightened it to you know.
But that's okay because you know when you bring it into like the Nix software or Aurora, any of those, you want it bright and you want it bright and flat because then what happens is Nick pulls down that center and darkens things down quite a bit. I mean, you can see what it did. You know, I just blended in and I missed obviously all this area in here
Of
and
course.
these areas in here and around the tree. I mean, I did brush back the trees a little bit so you can still see the fog. But you know, I'd clean up all this. I clean this up. I might take that out, just make it all cement. Take that out. Those are okay.
Okay.
You know,
Cool.
let me see
Well,
what
say this because we'll do it once we actually get going. But thank you. No, this is really helpful.
yeah, right in here. You know, that kind of stuff. You know, just finish off the trees. Fill that little hole in there. Fill in this hole down here. You know, fill that in right there. That little dirt patch. Make it look like it's all uniform.
Right.
You know, fix the trees. Obviously the skyline because I didn't feather it in right.
Yeah.
You know, completely. It's got some. But that's tack sharp, man. That's a nice shot. Did you see Tim's shot of this?
No.
Tim did a sunset of this particular building, and it came out really good.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to go back there sometime and actually shoot it at sunset because it's a gorgeous building.
Yeah, it really is, and lit up.
I actually like to do a shot after dark as well with all the windows, with all the lights on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a Canon 24mm tilt shift that I was using.
Really?
Yeah. Just with the Sony MC11. The Sigma MC11 adapter on my Sony.
On your Sony, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, there was the Canon tilt shift, and I was really taken with that lens. That's the 24, the Mark II 24, and it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, it's tack sharp, man. Yeah. Look at that. That's pretty damn sharp. And those are pigeon. That's pigeon stuff up there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you know, I'd go in and clean all that up and get rid of all those artifacts if you wanted to submit this.
Right. I mean, as I say, it was taken during a workshop, so I can't submit this. But I mean, if I go back and reshoot it, which I will do at some point, then I'll definitely, clean it up. But so we've got a couple of people on already, Amelia and Jim. We'll give people another 10 minutes to get going, and then we don't generally have a lot of people, but the people that are here are the ones that are really interested in sort of starting to get going on competition. I know they will appreciate your insights.
Well, I don't know about that, but but we'll. All right. Well, then why don't we just go through these first three, and while we're waiting for everybody to come on at 7, and then go from there.
Sure.
Okay. Is it okay that I open these up in Photoshop? And
of course it is, yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking, you know, I can tell what this is, but I'm thinking you've got to turn it into a black and white, and you've got to make it a duotone.
Okay.
I don't think a monotone works for this. I think you've got to make it into a duotone, where it's just black and white, and you might have a little bit of the softness in there, but and your key line is too weak, in my opinion.
Too weak?
Yeah, not strong enough.
That's interesting. Okay.
Too dark. It's too dark, because this is so bright in here. Let me get this thing down lower. Because it's so bright in here, that just fades away. When it first came up, I couldn't even see it.
Right.
So,
I've always been really careful not to go over the top on key lines because I hear so many people getting berated for having a key line that's too strong. So maybe I've gone too far.
I would just bring it up a little bit, a little bit light, because this is so bright. And I try and even out. Well, I don't know about evening out. Let's see what happens. Let's just duplicate this real quick and see what happens if we turn it in image, adjust. Is it adjust that I want?
So this has had almost no editing to it. I fixed a couple of holes in the umbrella and recreated the right-hand side where I clipped it in just a little bit. But I submitted this in the straight out of camera class in PPC last year. Mm-hmm. And it's in at PPA at the moment. I'm not sure whether it'll do any good or not, and I know this is a gamble image just because it's a silhouette and, everyone has a distant view of what it should be.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's just play with it for a minute and see.
Yep.
Oh, we can't use it. Okay, can't use the nick in the black and white. All right, so let's see what happens if we do this.
Okay, we had Lutz has just joined us as well.
Who?
So we now have Jim Doyle, Amelia Durham, and Lutz Kalfel have joined us.
Okay.
Guys, if you just joined, Jim and I are just looking at a couple of images that I'd sent him at the last minute. So we're just using the time now for him to give me some feedback on a couple of my images. We'll get going with the action images that submitted starting at 7 o'clock. I've given you all permission to talk, so you can talk. We're going to try to make this fairly interactive, but I'll go through formal introductions in about 10 minutes.
Hello, everybody.
Crickets.
Nobody wants to talk to you. Okay. Well, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Jim. Can you hear me?
Hey,
Yep.
Jim. Yes, we can.
Good evening, guys. Thanks.
Good evening. So when we refer to Jim, we're going to have to be clear as to which Jim we're talking about. Jim Doyle is the gentleman driving Photoshop and presenting, and Jim Doyle is a recent a guy who's just recently joined IEPPV and knocked the ball out of the park with his first competition image. Jim, what did you get? Like an
87.
87. It was an awesome image.
Awesome.
So definitely a very, very impressive start. I first met Jim at the California Photography Center, which is Ramiro Gaitan's school, and I was teaching a class on lighting, and he came and joined me there, and we had some fun, and he did some good stuff there, and he's definitely gone from strength to strength.
Cool.
We also have Lutz Kalfel, who's also a relatively new member, and Lutz has been doing some beautiful stuff with competition as well. He's had a couple of images, and Lutz, you've had some merits as well, haven't you? Lutz just rejoined. Okay. We have two Lutz. Okay, and then while we're waiting, we also have Amelia Durham, who does amazing work with painting pets. And she came and gave a talk for us about a month ago at IEPPV.
I've heard of Amelia.
There you go.
She's really good.
Yeah, she is. So it's
Dwayne speaks very highly of her. Okay.
So she's on mute, so I guess she probably stepped away. Anyway, sorry.
No problem. Okay, this layer, I just lightened up that, key line a little bit.
Got it.
Okay, and here, I don't know, maybe that's too much, but let me back it down a little bit, maybe. And I think this side needs to have the same texture as this side. If you're going to make it a duotone, this side needs to be the same intensity as this side to give it a, you know what I'm saying? So it's even all the way across. And I think that's, you know, that's pretty good, man. And what did you shoot that with?
It was just a single Godox 8200 behind the what do you call it, parasol, and it was shot at night, outside at night, and she was you know, just standing holding a parasol over her shoulder, and I just had a single light behind it, just a paper parasol, so I just let through it.
Yeah, if you shoot it again, well, I would put the light right there.
I will do, yeah.
This was
one of those things we were shooting. We were doing a whole bunch of totally different stuff, and I saw the way the parasol was lighting up, and so I just switched off the other two lights. I had two strip lights, you know, strip boxes, one on either side. And I switched those off, and literally just grabbed this in seconds. I didn't think anything further, and we went through the evening. It was only when I looked at it later that I realized just what I had there, and I was really happy with that. And
you might want to try, you know how what's the new Pro Photo that's got a round, or the new Godox that's got a round?
Yeah, the Pro Photo B10 and Godox V1.
Yeah. If the bright is all completely illuminated even, I think it would really make it strong.
Right.
I'd turn her face a little more toward the camera so you get rid of her cheek line here.
That's an interesting one. So that's one that I go back and forth on. I actually really like that, and I've had people. Some people hate it, and some people love it, and that's why this is a gamble image, because
just that caught my eye.
Yeah.
And
but if you notice, you also see the same on her neck, just the top of her bust line. So
exactly.
There's just a hint, and that was actually done intentionally. But
and those little spots there were kind of annoying.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I didn't do anything. I should have done those.
And like that one right there, and there's but the problem is that my mind, what I see with this is a silhouette, and it's really, really a great silhouette. If you turned her face just a little bit toward the camera, because it is a silhouette,
correct,
that would get rid of that cheek line. It would also probably clean up that neckline. And if you put the light right square in the center, that would give it the illusion of being a complete 100% silhouette. And, I don't know, when we were kids, they did one like this, but they cut it out gal did it with little tiny scissors and cut it out. My parents had a portrait of all the kids done that way.
Yeah.
Which was weird, but they did. Anyways, and then the last one, let's just look at that one real quick.
The last one was just looking up at the roof of the, I just love the patterns with that.
Wow.
The patterns and the textures, it's just such a cool.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of a spaceship type thing.
Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. Okay, things I like about it. Ouch, that's loud.
Loads, I think you have 2 sessions going, and we're getting feedback from them. I just muted both of them.
Look at that. What did you shoot that with?
Good question. Probably 2470. I'd have to go. I can take a look.
And you spent no, that's right. And you spent some time on this thing. I can tell.
And getting it lined up. Yeah, I did. I mean,
look at it. Look at how lined up it is. Every single point lines up.
Yeah. No, and that was all done in camera. I spent a lot of time in getting it lined up. I was probably 15 minutes getting shots lined up.
It's not easy, is it?
No, it's not. I probably still had to correct a couple of bits afterwards, but hang on, let me just go to the folder.
That's really cool, Nick. I like that.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was kind of a fun shot.
Yeah, I mean, when I first looked at it, it looked really, I mean, spot on. Now I can see this right here, this line here is off just a hair, but
it's pretty close. But and actually, I mean, I did crop in a bit from my original shot, so that helped a bit. But I was pretty close on the original.
But I'll tell you what, that's like you picking out 0.15 on me.
Yeah,
that's a joke, guys. We Nick and I traded images last year for PPA, and he found one of my images was 0.15 degrees out of square, and I'm like, okay, because that's something I harp on, and I really pride myself on trying to be able to get them nailed, and this is really nice. I like it.
Thank you, Jim. I'm wrong, actually. It was that was shot with that Tamron. The Tamron 7. Is that right? No, that can't be right. Yeah, no, beg your pardon. It's the Sony 16 to 35. It was before
Really?
I got the Tamron.
This is
But the F4, not the F28.
G Master?
No, it's not the G Master. It's the original, the F4.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was actually, I mean, it was a remarkably good lens. The G Master is way better, but it's also a lot more expensive. I ended up getting the Tamron 15 to 30 that you guys love.
Oh,
I absolutely love that lens.
what do you think of that?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's, the corrected images and the lines are so straight. I mean, for architectural analysis, it's incredible.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if you even look down here, look at this. I mean, it's spot on. You did a really good job on that.
That bit, I'll confess, that was cropping because the original image, it was a little bit bigger than this.
I feel threatened. Okay. At 7 o'clock, you want to start?
Yep, let's go. Okay. So, guys, welcome to the IEPPV image review. We have illustrious Jim Doyle as our reviewer, critiquer, guide, and mentor. Jim is an awesome architectural photographer, but he's also got a background in shooting weddings, people, and stuff and things. So there's not a whole lot that he hasn't shot. He's been around for a long time, does incredible work. We have a number of images that have been submitted. Just now we were playing around with some of my images while we got everything going. But I'm going to hand over to Jim, who has his bridge open and will be playing around with his bridge and Photoshop. Jim, take it away.
Good evening. Nick, you are rather yes, I have been around way too long, and my wife and I used to shoot weddings and portraits, yes, and I shot a lot of kids in my day, but I got out of that business because, oh man, that's a young man's sport, and I'm not that young anymore, so off we go to another realm, and I've focused on architectural photography, and was fortunate enough to be able to have some fun with it, and do a little bit of landscape work for a couple of companies. We have clients that we shoot for, like the Irvine Company and people like that, when all the landscape stuff you see that they post is done by us. Anyways, let's move on to this. Thank you for the opportunity. This is really pretty. I really like this. I remember when these hills got full of the poppies. We actually went out, photographed a bunch of this, and I'm not quite sure where this is, but it's a pretty clean image. I would, honestly, I think it really is gorgeous, and I think it'll do well in the competitions. A couple of things. I'm going to take a look at a couple of things here. No, that's a tree. Okay. All right. That's okay. And it hasn't been sharpened very much, or if it has, the maker took good care of not creating, this kind of stuff. That's a big problem. Even if you don't sharpen it, like right here, even if you don't sharpen it, that has a tendency to look like it's being over sharpened right in that area, but it's not. And I understand that, but sometimes, maybe clean that up a little bit. The other thing that caught my eye right away was this down here. I'd knock that down and get rid of that and bring the poppies right down, or maybe just clean up that area there. And that's not too bad. But other than that, I think this is really a good image. This probably score in the mid to high 80s. If I was judging it, I would. It's pretty. How far do you want me to go with this, Nick?
It's entirely up to you. I mean, if you've got suggestions on what you can, where you think it would improve or be strengthened, then definitely do that. And by the way, guys, I've given you all permission to speak. So if this is your image, feel free to speak up and have a conversation with Jim.
Yeah. Whose image is it?
I don't know, actually. Do anyone want to admit to this image?
Okay. Well, the only other thing is I would brighten this area in here a little bit. Just brighten it up a little bit. Don't let the oranges go overexposed, but just brighten it up a little bit. Bring that up because that's the subject matter, and it's been muted by the clouds in here. So I just bring this area up a little bit if you could. Okay. Whose is this?
I don't have makers.
Nobody wants to admit to that. Okay.
Someone's laughing.
That's funny.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, we make jokes once in a while. We're all legends in our own mind, right?
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, the sky is sharp. I think the tree needs a little more definition, though. I'm going to open this up in Photoshop, if you don't mind, and just play with it for a minute and see what. But that obviously, you know, somebody took time to make that work. Ouch, that hurt. Just a little more detail in this tree to bring it out a little bit might, and this foreground, open up the foreground just a little bit like that. And, you know, just so that there's a little more detail in there because, you know, it's a nighttime shot, but obviously it's a long exposure. And again, I think the key line is just, okay, you've got a double key line there, one around the print and one around, I think it's just a little too soft. It needs to come up a little bit. It's not bright enough. When I first looked at it, I didn't even see it, quite honestly. So I would, and I'm in a dark room right now where my monitor's at normal brightness, but I can't, I didn't see, I see it now, but I didn't see it before. So I would just pump that up just a little bit. All right, let's move on to the next one. Hello.
Jim, I think the maker for these is actually just trying to join. I'm just going to find the link for her
Okay.
so that she can join. So if you can just bear with me 1 second. I think you know Rebecca, don't you?
Rebecca
Lee?
I probably have met her, but
Okay.
Sorry, I'm terrible with names.
No worries. Let me see if I can. Just bear with me a second, guys. I'm just trying to find the link to the conference. Here we go. Okay, I've just sent it, so she may join in just a minute. Or I think she will join in just a minute. This one I'm 99% certain is hers, and I think the previous one may have, or maybe even the previous two may have been hers. While we're waiting, Amelia, I think there's a way that you can actually join, have the audio be connected to a phone rather than your computer if you don't have a microphone on your computer. You may have to rejoin to do that. But if you do, then that way you can actually have a chat with Jim as well. Guys, if you can just bear with us a second, I'm just going to wait for Rebecca to join. Like I said, I think this is her image. It's certainly from Archers and Canyonland, and I think probably from the time that we were there.
I've actually never been there.
Have you not?
No.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah, we were there in April.
Right. I remember that. Everybody went and I had to work.
Bummer, dude.
Everybody gets to go on vacation but me.
The price of success.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but okay.
Okay, so Rebecca
I did just get back from Alaska.
Good for you. Rebecca, I just allowed you to talk, by the way, so you can unmute yourself and talk. Is this yours, Rebecca?
No, it's not mine.
Okay. I beg your pardon. What about that one? Also not yours?
No.
Okay. No, sorry, Jim. So, guys, sorry for the delay. Jim, carry on as you were.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so none of those were yours. Okay, this one, I opened up in Photoshop and was just playing around with it just a little bit. That red is just way too intense, and I think it needs to be brought down. It doesn't look natural. It looks painted in. It's too contrasty. So that would be my suggestion. I would also, again, bring down the sky. You've got, let me get out of there so I can get to my tools here real quick. Doesn't like, come on. You're in the way, Nick.
Oh, am I?
No, wasn't you, it was me. Okay, I would bring this down also. The sky needs to be, it's overexposed in the sky. So I would bring that way back. I'm not sure if this was a single exposure or multiple exposures. Did you expose for the sky and for this area? Look at the banding too that comes up. You can see that even without it. You can see that there's some banding in here. But this is a really high contrast image, and the exposure here, if it was a multiple exposure, that sky and this part needs to be blended in. I like the sun, but look at how this drops off so much. It becomes really contrasty, and this rock becomes really red. I don't know what, does it tell us what camera type it was shot on?
They left the data in, maybe.
It's on a Nikon with a 14 to 24. And I would say that and see the saturation is at 2. It's too high, and it the sky is too bright. This has no detail in it in here, and down in here needs more detail. It needs to be brought down to I would say this is probably a 10 stop, and it needs to be brought down to about 5 to get it to what your eye really saw.
So you would HDR this then, Jim?
Sorry?
You would shoot this with HDR?
I would have shot 3 exposures. Yeah, your sky is I would have gotten a normal exposure for this area in here. I would have gotten an exposure for the sky. Where's my mouse? There it is. In this area, I would have gotten an exposure in here, and then one for in here for the shadows, and blended them in so that they looked. This is a real famous, iconic area, and. Sorry?
I think we're getting, someone's got background sound. I'm going to mute people and see if we can figure out who it is.
Look at that also. It's shot at ISO 800. No wonder the high contrast. Right. So again, I would have knocked that down, and I don't like shooting over about 320 is even difficult on night shots. The lower you can go, or on this kind of stuff, the lower you can go, the better. That was shot at 800. I mean, it's a great shot. I just think it needs to be worked a little more to get it into the merit area. I like this a lot. This is really pretty. I can see a couple, I mean, I think it needs a little more detail down in here in this area. But this is gorgeous. This is really gorgeous. I think it needs a little more. That is distracting right there. They might or might not like that in the judging. I don't know, but definitely some more detail in here to open this up. Is the maker of this online?
Who wants to admit to this one? I muted everybody, so Jim, you've got your hand up. Do you want to unmute yourself? We were getting some background noise, so I muted Jim DeLaw, that is.
Oh, okay. Now I'm catching on how to run this thing. Yeah, I tried to jump in with the last image, and you were talking about how ISO is really affecting the contrast. So you were saying that a lower ISO would give a better contrast?
Lower ISO, the higher the ISO, the higher the gain. The higher think of it like a, think of it, how do I describe it? I'm trying to take it back to the stereo. Yes, the higher the ISO, the higher the contrast. The lower the ISO, the lower the contrast is going to be. The gain is not going to be as high. And so therefore you can get more detail in the shadow areas with lower ISOs.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
On this one, yeah, because this was shot at 800. This was shot at 1100. Wow, that's pretty high. And it was shot with a 105 on a D850 with a 105 2.8. That's really nice. Like I say, on this one, I would ditch some of this stuff in the back, make it a little bit softer, and I would open up this just a little bit, open up some of the shadows around here, but not a lot, because you don't want to take away from this. But that's really gorgeous. That would work out well. Are B to be or not to be?
There we go.
I would tone that stuff down, get that knocked, and especially this. This is, you know, obviously the high reflections from the strobe. Just tone those down a little bit. And the other thing is, like right there, see this stuff? Judges look for that. That tends to be what they call over sharpening. You can see it there too. And in there, you can see it. It's not hard to get rid of if you just, I'll show you real quick. I'm sure most of you guys know how to do this, but make a new layer on there so I don't destroy the original.
I think you just copied your selection. That was intentional, Jim.
Sorry?
Did you mean just to copy the selection?
Oh, that's it right there.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I see what you did. Got it.
Yeah, no, I'm set on current and below.
Yep.
And the same thing in here, you know, I would clean that up, clean this up, clean that up. You know, it's going to take some time, but you know, I just go through that with a fine tooth comb, even down here. You know, there isn't too much problem in there. That looks okay. Ah, here you go. See here, high contrast situations, that stuff pops out like nobody's business. And judges will look for that. Again, I tone this down a little bit, the reflections off the B, but other than that, I think that one's really good. That one came out really well. This guy is good too, but again, it's real grainy. I'm not sure it's shot up with a D850, but it's, and I don't know what else. ISO 1000. Okay, that's another. Again, look at all the artifacts. You know, grain, bottom line, and that that'll keep it from. That was the first thing that jumped out at me was all the grain on it. So if you can run it through one of the, I don't know if it's Nick or one of the Luminar programs or Topaz or one of the programs that'll knock that down. Sometimes.
Topaz denoise is fairly effective. I don't know if you use that one, Jim.
Okay, what is it?
Topaz denoise.
Yeah, I've got Topaz Suite. I haven't used it because I don't. I mean, I haven't used it lately. Let's put it that way. Not since I got the new stuff. The
Right.
old stuff I did, but not the new stuff. But that would be my comment on this one. But I like it. But it's, again, it just needs to be, the noise needs to be turned down. Love it. I think that, and now what's the title of this one?
Nature Morning.
Nature.
Oh, just no, Morning. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Morning.
Oh, Morning Surge. We'll get there eventually. Figure that.
Search. There you go.
Yeah, Morning Surge.
Man, I like the detail in this. Look at the water in here and how his claw is just touching the water, causing the ripples in that. That's pretty cool. Reflection of the. I wonder what would happen if we just took and, because in the morning, that's a blue mat, isn't it? Oh, wow. Look at that. It's a blue mat, not a,
Not a black one.
not a black one like I had thought. I'm just going to throw a little cooling filter on it and see what happens. That's too much. I don't know. Mornings tend to be blue, not see the muddiness in here. I don't know if you can see that on your screens or not, but I just threw a little bit of a blue filter or a cyan 82 filter on it, and it knocked down some of the yellow out of the bird too, because his feathers are normally a little on the wider side. Also brought out a little more detail in here. I don't know, just a suggestion on my part, but I really do like the image, and I think that one will do well. Oops. Don't save. Wow.
Perched by myself.
That's clean. That's real clean. I don't know. Man, that is sharp.
For those of you that don't know Jim, clean is about as high a compliment as you get.
Yeah, I'd clean that up right there. That little area. But that, yeah, clean means it's clean. There's no deep, there's a lot of, see all this area here is really nice. There's no sharpening artifacts or anything like that. Along the backside, and there's a little bit of a line there that might to just touch that out ever so slightly. Just, yeah, see that? This is what happens. Chromic aberration occurs in high contrast areas. I shoot architecture, so I'm constantly involved in extremely high contrast situations. And, you know, we're at ISO 400 on this, and so you've got a little more contrast. And whether it was sharpened or not, it's still the contrast, the sensor has a tendency to show this kind of stuff. So in competition, if you're going to take this to the next level, I would do that. I don't know what it would look like if we cropped that down a little bit, crop just a little bit out of that, but it's pretty well positioned. That would be my only comment, would be just fix the edges, fix that stuff, because if somebody zooms in on it, or if you print it out, that'll show big time. And that's I got you. But that's very good, very well done.
Hi, Jim. This is Rebecca. This is
Hi.
not my image, but I was wondering, what do you think about that? I think there's a supporting beam on the lower left-hand corner of the wall. Like there's repeating pattern on the top and then repeating pattern in the bottom, but then that supporting part, that the white part on the lower left-hand corner seems disrupting the pattern. Would you recommend removing it?
Well, see, that was my, yeah, it is a little bit of a distraction, but it's so blurry. See, that was what I was thinking, was if we, let me do this. Okay, and then I'm gonna mask it. Like that, Rebecca?
Yes, or even maybe digitally remove part of it to match the pattern.
Whether you, I think
the maker wanted to put it in the thirds, for row of thirds, and that's why the bird was positioned, you know, on the right hand side. This might be a bit too centered if we crop it down. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, and I was trying to move it in that position, but I think at this point it needs to be right about there. He's not.
Yeah, that's less distracting. You know, it's just a small.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. You could even just desaturate that or clone that out. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. See that? Now that has more impact to me. For me, at least. And I think, would you agree?
I agree.
Okay.
I definitely agree, Jim. Guys, do we have a make of this image online? Nobody wants to admit to it?
Nobody wants to admit. All right, let's move on. Wow, that's cool. When I first saw this image,
sorry, Jim. Kip admitted to the pigeon. He just put his hand up.
Who did?
Kip Carlson?
Oh, I don't see him online.
He's as an attendee.
Oh.
Uh,
so did he see what?
Kip, you need to unmute yourself to talk.
Oh, there's more. Hey, Kip, how you doing?
Great, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, between Rebecca and I
like it.
Yeah, I mean, he's still in that quadrant looking into the image. I think, personally, I think it just makes it a stronger image.
I like that. That's nice. Right. Thanks.
So you're the D850. Okay.
No, I'm the D800. Not the 850, 800.
Okay.
Yeah, the B was the 850. I think this one's an 800.
All right, so this one is done by Stanley Fry because he put his name in the
In the metadata.
yeah, in the metadata. I like the fact that he captured the spider all the way through, but I think the spider is too far down to the right. It needs to be more into this. He needs to be more up in here. If he had moved over a little bit and had a little more of this coming in, and the spider was like up in this area, I think it would be stronger. It would be a stronger image. You know, it's pretty well pixelated, being shot at 800 ISO. You know, you can see. I don't know how much of the image he used, but ISO 800 is pretty. Now it could also be it's only 200 resolution, but that still shouldn't be that. But it's a nice shot. Depth of field is shallow, so that says he was pretty close, even at f8. But I would say if the maker has this image and he cropped it, I would add a little more over here and bring the spider over just a little bit more, so he's not running out of the picture. He's in the picture and he looks like he's coming at you rather than trying to get away from you, would be my comment.
So Jim, before you move on, I had one question about this. I just noticed the title is Wilford Brimley. If you heard a title Wilford Brimley, and then this came up, what would be your reaction?
Given the fact that I don't know who Wilford Brimley is,
Right.
I have to say I'm looking at the photograph more on the merit of what the photograph is and does it speak to me, rather than how the title ties into it. Sometimes the title plays in, and sometimes, you know, sometimes the title, yeah, okay, fine, but you know, how is it photographed? I mean, if you look at this leg here compared to this leg, why is that leg there so much sharper? You know, maybe that one's behind it. I don't know. I can't tell, but you know, it doesn't hold it. Who's Wilford Brimley?
I don't know. That was my point as well.
Okay.
And a general note to the maker and to everyone online. One of the challenges with titles is that you don't know what context and what local knowledge your judges may or may not have.
Right.
And I think we've all fallen foul of this at some point. You pick a name that you know is completely obvious to you, only to discover that the judge has never heard of it and it doesn't resonate with them. I think this is probably a case like that. If one knew who Wilford Brimley was, it would probably make perfect sense.
I assume it has something to do with some spider in some movie or something, but I don't know. All right. Wow. That's really well done. Who did this?
I mean, is that one you? You can type even if you can't speak.
That's Lutz.
Oh, it's Lutz. Okay, nice. Well done, Lutz.
Yeah, there it is. All right.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Very, very nice. The only thing that caught my eye initially, Lutz, was his nose, his snout, that right there. Other than that, I think that's a stunning portrait of that German Shepherd. If you could tone that down just a little bit, I think that would do really, really well. I mean, look at the edges are just tack sharp, and his teeth are sharp. There's no lines around the tongue, you know, no contrast in it. I mean, no artifacts in it. What was that shot on? Panasonic. Wow. Very good. And what lens did you use? A Leica lens. Wow. Okay. Very good. Very well done. We normally don't have this kind of metadata to be able to see what we get, but that's pretty clean. That's well done. And Lutz, how did you light it?
Lutz, are you able to unmute yourself and talk? We'd love to hear from you.
The dog was outside in my backyard.
And what did you light it with?
Natural light.
Natural light.
Very well done. Excellent. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So a lot of post-production did you do? I mean, obviously there's a heavy vignette.
No, I just with the black backdrop.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
All right.
That's it.
Wow. You're good.
Thank you. I'm improving. I'm trying.
That's all we all do. But I would just knock that down. And I think that would go real well. That would go real well toward, I'd even enter that at PPA. I think that's good.
Jim, let me ask this question. What do you think about the neck area? We usually see a little bit more of the body or, less black on the lower right-hand corner.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be something that judges would discredit?
I think it's a portrait of the dog. And honestly, I didn't see, when I first saw it, I didn't see a problem with it. I thought that was, I thought there was a vignette because obviously you can see here where his ear is vignetted and this is where it's vignetted. It's just beginning to come in on the tongue, but not there. But, I suppose if that was opened up just a little bit and maybe this opened a little bit, that might help. But
it may become less of a floating hat.
Say again?
It will be less it will appear less of a floating head.
Yes.
I have had comments on my own images that they felt that the head is not supported when it's that dark.
Okay. So too much of a vignette is what you're saying. Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Possible.
The edge of the pup's ear could be there's no detail there. That could be lightened up a bit. And you're right. This could be lightened up a bit.
Just a tad bit to support the head.
Yeah, probably. But I wouldn't go much further than about here. It's going to fall off, maybe just a little more, and maybe just the edge of his ear, so there is some detail there because it looks like a vignette was applied to it, and you're right, and they may call too much of a vignette. But I like the key line, and I like the fact that it's a portrait of him.
Thank you.
Well done. And thank you for your comments, Rebecca. That's helpful.
Just thank you for answering my questions.
Not a problem. Please speak up. Nobody has all the answers, and it's good to hear from other people. That's why we have 3 judges and not 1.
Yeah, that's true.
Backlit beauty.
Amelia just said that this one's hers. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a microphone to talk at us.
Whose is this?
Amelia Durham.
Okay. I really like the image. I mean, initially I really liked the image. I think the yellow on this on the left side is a bit of a distraction, but the angle that was photographed at, I think that I think the whole dog has to be included. I don't think that, you know, the dog's hindquarters cut off or legs are cut off, the whole thing. I think there needs to be more. I mean, I like what the maker did with it, but I think that the whole dog needs to be included rather than just a piece of it like that, would be my opinion. I'd probably would not give this one a merit, simply for that reason. I would like to see the whole dog. It was kind of shot up at the dog, which is not a problem, but you know, I want to see the rest of the dog. I'm missing this part of it, and that bothers me a little bit. That would be my comment on this one. But it's nicely done. Well prepared, I'll tell you that. This is a bit on the bright side, so it kind of distracts my eye too. Pulls and maybe tone that down just a little bit.
Jim, do you do the upside down trick with images? Do you know that one?
Say again?
Do you turn images upside down to see where your eye goes for looking for the brightest point?
No, I don't.
There's a trick.
I mean, I know.
You know the trick? Yeah.
Yeah, I know the trick, yeah. But no, but in this case, the darkest point is where my eye is going to go. My eye is drawn to the darkest point, which is where? It's the dog's nose.
Right.
So that's just out. So my eye, but I keep going there, and then I keep jumping off to the left. And then I'm back to the chest, and I'm back onto the dog. So maybe that's good that it's keeping me in the image. But I think this needs to be toned down a little bit, because my eye is going to be drawn to the darkest point in this particular case, because
right.
Title, backlit beauty. Okay, I'm looking at the dog. Where do you look? Right in the face, and there it is. Same thing here. Where's your eye go? Goes to the snout, and then the eyes down the body, and back up the white strip, back up to his nose, back to the eyes, back down the body. So these aren't quite as distracting, because my eye goes right there. And just like that triangle. That's pretty. That's well done. Is it sharp? Yeah, pretty sharp. The vignette, I think the judges may say vignette is a little too hard. So maybe a little stronger feather on the vignette might be better, just to bring it down. You see how it drops off? It starts right there and then drops off. The same thing here, starts right about here and drops off. If it started here and dropped off, or started here and dropped off, I think it might be same thing here. I think it might be just softer, subtler, not so dramatic, like we're looking through a keyhole. That's another something I might want to take out. Those right there. Those whiskers that are a little bit of a distraction. Fly away here. Joking. But that would be my comment on that one. Just clean that up, fix the vignette a little bit so it's not quite as strong, but that is very pretty.
Amelia claimed this one as well.
Well done. Wow. Naked, freckled, and beautiful. Pretty sharp. You know, I personally, I like to see one catch light in the eye rather than two. Now, some judges say it doesn't really matter, but you know, like I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going on there. And the same thing over in here. I've got just these two that are I like to see one catch light rather than two, but that's just my opinion.
This one is Kip's, I believe.
Wow, it's very beautiful. It's
oh, no, I'm confused. I'm seeing everyone saying, Emilio, this one is yours? Someone say it.
5D Mark III. Oosh.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah. Kip, Kip's an Icon guy.
Yeah, he's yeah. Friends don't let friends shoot shoot cannon, right, Kip? No. I'm a cannon shooter, so don't take that to heart.
That's okay, Jim. You'll get over it one day.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to try my Sony tomorrow night at an event and see if I can make it work. I would that the catch lights I think are the only thing. Is there too much? Should it be less background? I don't know. That's a good question. Should we crop it here or take some of this out and move it over a little bit so it's not quite so centered? That might help a little bit. Another suggestion, just crop like that much out. See if that makes a difference. And because the dog is looking into the image, no question, but if you pulled a little more out of this, because this is really dark and this is really bright and your eye wants to go in that direction, and then you'd have that triangle working too, where if it was cropped here, you could, make the case for the triangle. It was pretty well done. It's nice and sharp. Wow. Now here's an example at ISO 800. Look at how tight that is. That's pretty tight. So what was this shot on? Canon Mark III. That Mark III is a nice camera. And you shot it with a 50mm lens at 0.1. Well, that's one. Okay, there you go. 0.14 at 0.35. That's well done. Toned down. The initial reaction is, wow, I'd be in the high 80s with this. This is really well done. Then as I start to look at more detail, tone these pearls down. Tone those pearls down. Those are blown out. You lost all the highlights in there. You gotta bring that down. That would be my comment on that one. But that's really nice. That's really well done. Just bring the highlights down around the neck here, maybe a little bit on the face here. And I think that'll score really well.
That one was Emilio's as well.
Portrait class.
I think the title is Class and the category is Portrait.
Sí, muy bien con su foto, le fue bien con la foto, sí, sí, salió bonito. Bonito, ¿no? Bonito.
Any chance we can get some detail in there? Open that up just a little bit in there to see the bridge of her nose and that eye in there. Just a little more detail in there, but that's pretty nice. I mean, the wrist is not overly. You could tone that down a little bit there.
Okay, so this is my image, and
Yes, sir.
there's like a 5-second delay for me between what you're saying and what you're showing. So can you go back to the nose and what you're trying to point out there?
Sure. Right in there, if you can open up the shadow in this area here, just to show the bridge of her nose.
Got it.
In there and in the eye. And then tone down this a little bit, just tone that down, because where's the brightest point in the image? The brightest point in the image is right here and right here. If you tone this down, that becomes the brightest point. That's where your eye gets drawn to every time.
Okay.
So I would say just do that and then get rid of that. That's a bit of a distraction right there.
Get rid of what?
I'm sorry, that part right there. That little, can you see right here?
Looks like it's a feather or something.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is. All right.
Maybe tone this down a little bit so it doesn't distract, because again, that's a distraction. Maybe bring that netting down to close that gap in there too. Just get rid of that and bring that netting down, I would say, and then, you know, clone it down so that it, but then open that up and tone that down. And I think that's very well done. Very nice. What did you shoot? What kind of lighting did you use on this?
This was in a studio. If I remember right, it was like a 4x4 box. Okay. And she was kind of close to it.
Single light?
Yeah.
Nice. Very well done. The feeling of joy.
3.
Look at the detail here at ISO 100. Remember when we were talking about 1000 and 1600?
Yeah.
See the difference? Yeah, that's clean. Who did you do this also?
Yes.
Pretty. My comment would be to tone the dress down.
Actually, I did. Okay. It was pretty bright white, and yeah, I did try and drop it down a little bit.
Yeah, to get enough light on her face, I'm sure, and her skin compared to that white dress, I can imagine. Yeah, I'd tone it back more.
All right.
So that her skin is the brightest part of it. But it's a moving image. Looks really good. I wonder if that thumb there is a distraction. Fingers, I don't see the problem, but that thumb, you may want to get rid of that.
Oh, just clone it out?
Yeah, why not? Just take it out.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a distraction. It not enough there to see, but just enough to, okay, what is it? Oh yeah, it's got to be your thumb, but distracts from the subject matter. And again, I would tone this all down, because her face and her this is the subject here. This is the subject matter in this image. I mean, it's the whole body, but yeah, tone this down and tone this down a little bit, and keep this where it's at. I think that's the key to this. Well done. And I like how you just ever so faintly keylined that up at the top to make it stand out. That's well done. How many times did you have to take that before you got that shot?
It was a set of dancers, and they just kept rotating in. I can't say that we just kept doing one pose over and over again. That was what she did, and I liked it.
Well done. Was this on a commercial job?
No.
Okay. Do you shoot for a living?
No. This is just something I do for personal happiness.
It's, hey, that's okay. Well done. As I say, tone that down, and I think you gotta keep her there.
Tone the dress down, right?
Tone. I would tone all of this down. I would bring all this down. Now that I look at it more, bring this all her dress and her skin. This part of it down. Bring this down about half a stop, and bring this down a half a stop. So let's see if I can just open it in Photoshop real quick and make a.
So maybe a gradient from her waist down.
Let's see. See the difference?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
The other thing you got to remember is these guys, the judges are looking at these things on a calibrated monitor, and they tend to do better when they're about 15 points darker than what you think they should be. Wouldn't you agree, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's partly because not only are they looking at a calibrated monitor, but typically they're also looking in a darker environment.
Yeah.
And so the environmental lighting makes a big difference to what you see on screen.
What is 15 points?
Well, if you look at 15 points, it would be if I took this and went down minus 15.
Okay, like in exposure points. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and exposure points. Yeah, maybe even 25, somewhere 20 to 25. I tend to darken mine down at least 15 when I enter an image, because what I think is, and how does that compare? Yeah, that's about the same. It's about 20. So that has a little more contrast, because I brought not only did I bring the exposure down, but I also brought up or down the highlights.
Okay.
Excuse me, the midtones. But if I just went brightness, there's just about the same thing without the contrast in the legs compared to this one. So see the legs compared to this. So, but yeah, the exposure here needs to be a little less.
Okay, so like quarter of a stop is what I think you did.
More like a half.
Okay.
More like a half.
I'll try it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Jim, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Questions. One, what do you think it adds more impact in black and white? And number two, should we remove the tattoo? Was it distracting to you?
Well, you notice I put my cursor over it to see it. Tattoos are becoming more and more accepted in this arena. I would say that wasn't that big of a distraction to me. Would it be better in black and white? Possible. But as far as just the image as Jim submitted it, I would, well, let's see what happens if we take it to black and white. I think it's got more impact as a as color, honestly. If this just gets toned down, I think that has a lot more impact.
Sure, just to try.
Jim,
Yeah.
do you have Nick Silver FX Pro?
Yes.
I think because I mean, I don't know about you, but if I were taking it, if I were going to take it to black and white, I would definitely play with some of the Nick filters and use some of the slightly more punchy ones to replace the color with contrast.
Yes, but the maker, it might look better in black and white if you were to mess with it. But
yeah,
based on what I'm seeing here in color, that's what
beautiful.
my review is. So, but that's why they make all this software, right?
Yep.
All right, and Pure Love.
So I'm going to guess this one is Lutz again. Lutz, is this yours? Yep. Lutz says it's hers.
Yes, it's shot up with the Leica lens.
Oh yes, I didn't see that.
I'm gonna open that up, take a look at it. We don't get to do this normally. Yeah, that's clean. That's sharp. Well done. Okay. That blemish right there, I take that out. Might want to get those flyaway hairs down here at least. This one's not too bad. That one and these, maybe I'd take out. Maybe tone this down just a little bit on her face. That would be my comment. And I would say that'll score in the low to mid 80s.
So Jim, can you go back to a couple of the original images? I think they were Kip's, and Kip joined us a little bit late. In particular, there was a tree that was lit by moonlight. This one, Kip, that one's yours, correct? You need to unmute.
Yes.
There we go. Mr. Razzle Dazzle himself. When did you guys shoot this, Kip?
March.
Cool. Well done.
Thanks.
The comment that I made is I think the foreground needs the tree and the foreground needs to be opened up a little bit. There's no detail in here. I mean,
Okay.
that just this area in here, and I think everything. I mean, the sky, the stars are pretty sharp, and you know, I don't know what the 3-second exposure ISO 4000. That's pretty good with that for that camera. That's pretty good. But I would open up the shadows on the tree and in this back area down here, and yeah, just get some more contrast, some zip in there. You know Ken Skloot, right?
Yep.
Take a look at some of his stuff. He does a lot.
I see it all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I can appreciate that. But that would be, open it up, zip it, make it zip. Maybe brighten up the mountains just a little bit, give them a little bit of zip. And what happens if we were to, you don't mind if I play with it? Yeah. Did you do the arch too?
Yes.
You did that?
Yep.
Okay.
Kit, was this tree in Arches and Canyonland as well?
Yes.
Whereabouts?
You walked by me, and you had already walked by me, and I couldn't even see the mountain because it was 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever, something stupid in the morning.
Okay.
Okay, I just ran it real quick through Nick, the older Nick, and this is tonal contrast. So you see what it did to the foreground. That's not what needs to be done, but I mean, it's close. Let's see if I can just open this up a little bit. I don't know, something like that, just to open it up a bit.
Okay, cool.
Just open up the shadows to give it a little more definition in there, because they're gonna go after all this dark area in here, even though it was shot at night, or what appears to be night. That was a 3-second exposure, and you got that. You were able to capture the mountain, and you couldn't even see it.
It wasn't really there, but it showed up.
Wow. Yeah, that's like when I went up to the top of the crater in Hawaii, and I shot that Milky Way. I never imagined that I would catch that much detail in it. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
This one.
Bring back the saturation. Bring back the red.
Yeah, I bring the red way back and bring the skies down too.
Okay.
See how blown out it is. Peter Lick has done a lot of work up in this area, and but it's a great shot. But I think open up the shadows and tone down this.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Did you shoot just one exposure, or did you shoot multiples? Okay,
just one exposure.
Raw.
I'm sorry.
Raw.
Oh no, JPEG.
Okay.
You know what? I probably do have a raw of it.
All right. Well, maybe you got enough to pull it back. But I like how you just have that sun peeking in. That just pulls my eye right in. But you got to knock that red way back. That's okay. Open up the shadows.
All right. Thank
what
you.
else, Nick? My pleasure.
I think that's about it. We've gone through is that all the images that we had submitted? Yeah, that was all the images that we had submitted. So guys, thank you very much for contributing your images. And Jim, thank you for your comments. Really definitely insightful and helpful. And it's always fun to listen to your comments and so on. So appreciate it.
I don't know about that. How many of you guys are going to be at the seminar this next weekend?
The F64 Live. I hear crickets.
Crickets.
Rebecca will. Kit will not. Guys, you need to unmute yourself if you want to talk. I might be able to unmute you.
I wasn't sure if I was going to join or not. I don't know if it's too late to register.
No, I think it's.
It's never too late.
I think you can even turn up on the day, but definitely it's not too late to register.
Yeah, if they want, they'll take your money.
Yeah. So what is the main benefit of going to the workshop?
You get to hang out with people who shoot different people, Christy Elias, myself, I don't know, who are the other, Nick, who are the other?
I was just trying to remember. Hang on a second.
I know two.
So there's Craig Colville, who's a fashion photographer. And then, where are we? Instructors, here we go. So we've got Frederick Van Johnson, who shot almost everything. Did a lot of work for, well, he was originally a military photographer in the Air Force, and then has done a lot of work for a number of companies in the Bay Area, Apple, Yahoo, and so on. Craig Colvin, who does glamour. Tim Engel is a fashion photographer, does, both of those two do amazing work. Christy does incredible fine art portraiture, so she'll take a photograph and then turn it into the most incredible paintings, and truly remarkable. Photo Joseph is a video guy. I don't know his work. I've just seen him a couple of times, but I don't know very much about him. Peter Reed Miller is a real top sports photographer, so again, action stuff and so on. And then finally, Laura Tillinghurst, who does beauty and lifestyle. So you've got a big, a good range of different instructors. You'll get to see some really cool stuff. There's some amazing models coming along, and a number of different sets. So it's a chance to basically go along, see what the masters do, and then go play and practice. It's very much a shooting event. So bring a camera and lots of cards and lots of batteries.
Okay, thanks.
Should be fun. Yeah. Okay, what else?
That's, I think, it, Jim.
All right, now before you guys hang up, I have a question for you. I want your impression and comment on that shot.
Can you zoom it up a little bit, Jim, so we get the sort of the full benefit of the glory?
Then I'll need to open it up.
Right, Julian. Sure.
I'm not sure what that's background noise or someone commenting. It's background noise.
I like it. You can see you open the doors and right in the doorway.
Say again?
You open the doors and you're standing right in the doorway.
Yeah, this part there and that trash can there got deleted before I entered it at PPA.
Oh, this is your I was going to ask if this is a competition image, Jim.
Yeah, and this is a new style that we're perfecting, that we're working on, and it's where things are darker in the foreground and there's light in the background, and it draws the viewer through the image.
It definitely creates the sense of warmth of the room, and it's very pretty.
Ambient, one shot, no light.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bring down the lights at all on the top, or did you keep them that bright?
No, that's the natural light. It was shot at half a second f10 at 320.
So it was shot just before sunset then, or just after?
No, early morning. It was raining outside, actually. This new style.
So that's why the outside's not so blown out then.
Yeah, this new style that we're working on is just amazing. When it rains, it's perfect.
Got it.
It's absolutely.
Then you've got nice gray overcast skies, soft light.
Exactly. Very, very soft. Yeah. And then I don't have any, see, as opposed to something like this, which is lit. And that was done for a home tour that Children's Hospital. We support that organization quite a bit. I'm trying to find.
Which particular children's was it?
Chalk.
Okay, nice.
They have a home tour every year, and we go photograph like custom homes in the neighborhood that they sell people. They sell people tickets, expensive tickets, and then take them on a run through it. I'm trying to find the other image I wanted to comment on.
I think that whole children's organization is amazing. My son was in Children's LA when he decided to throw himself off his skateboard and crack his skull.
Oh,
Yeah, and they were incredible.
yeah, they are pretty good. They are pretty good. And so, yeah, and I'm in Orange, so we support, you know, and with Turtle Photography, I work with Steve Loboshinsky. That's not it, but it's close enough. That's another one that was done, you know, you can just barely see that out in the back that it was just clearing up. The light was still pretty soft. So
Nice.
anyways, new style that we're working on as opposed to the dramatic stuff that we normally shoot.
Love it.
So, all right. Anything else?
No, that was it. Well, good luck with those at IPC. I look forward to seeing the commentary and seeing you get a 4 for 4.
Well, there we go. Let's hope. Keep our fingers crossed, huh?
I'll be happy if I get a single mirror. I haven't got anything that's worth looking at, but we'll see.
All right. Thanks
Okay,
very
Jim.
much, guys.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it, and particularly appreciate you stepping in at the last minute. So, guys from IEPPV, definitely keep up the good work, and we look forward to seeing these images in competition.
Absolutely.
And,
All right, thank you.
thanks all for attending. Take care, guys.